I'm here in Scariff in the East Clare here, and it's a week out from the big Munster Camogie senior final between Scariff Ogonelloe and Drummond Inch of Tipperary. And I'm joined here by Scariff Ogonelloe manager David Sullivan. First of all, David, thanks for having us over here. It's great to come out to East Clare, and especially with the great buzz to surround now.
Yeah, there's a massive buzz around it. It's our second final in 3 years, so we're eagerly anticipating it, and I think it's great that it's the same opposition as 2019. It'll add a little bit extra to the game. They'll be coming mad looking for revenge, and we'll be looking for that second title. So it promises to be a great spectacle, really. And I think the whole of Mallow, whoever travels, will be witness to a very good game of camogie next Saturday. A very competitive game of camogie between two teams who are mad to try and win a second Munster title in 3 years.
Absolutely, and I suppose you said that their revenge will certainly be on their minds coming into this match, but you're going to have to counteract that by, you'll be going for 2 and 3 years.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they're also Munster champions for 2020, they beat Aina Kilmona very narrowly in the final before Christmas, so they're trying to create a bit of history of second time winning the Munster final in a matter of weeks. So motivation won't be a problem for Drummond Inch, and the fact that they're playing us will probably add a little bit extra to their training for the last 2 weeks since the Munster semi-final. But our preparations have gone really, really well, and to be honest with you, we're not really focusing on the fact that it's Drummond Inch again. We're just focusing on a great opportunity that we find ourselves in to be in another Munster final, and with a new set of players than what we had in 2019 and a new look team, so we're eager for this team to make its own stamp and go win the Munster final.
Yeah, absolutely. When you mentioned Aina Kilmona there, I was in Kilmaley the day he beat Aina Kilmona, and that was a really hard game, trying conditions, and we came through with flying colours. If you contrast that then with Aina Kilmona, we played Drummond Inch only just before Christmas, and I was at that game as well, and Aina Kilmona were very unlucky, a late goal. So when you contrast the two games, I would make Scariff Ogonelloe favourites for this one.
Well, to be honest, there's going to be very little between us. In Munster, Aina, ourselves, Drummond Inch, Newcastle West, it seems to always be the same names that's popping up year on year in the Munster Championship. So there's very little between all the top teams in Munster, to be honest. And next Saturday will be no different. There won't be a puck of the ball between ourselves and Drummond Inch. And I know it's easy to compare. We bet Aina and they bet Aina. You're trying to contrast how the two performances went. But next Saturday will be a totally different game. Munster final will take on a new lease of life, and there'll be nerves on both sides, and it's how players deal with that nerves and drive on will be the winning of the game.
Yeah. You had it was a tough run through Clare. It's not easy when Clare anymore. There's teams there, but it's particularly the county final. It went to a replay, and through Clare, I suppose they brought you right to the wire on both days. But you just proved that you were champions, to overcome that.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I keep saying it to everyone. Clare is one of the most competitive championships that there is out there. You look around the rest of the counties, and Tip are 3 in a row champions. I think Offaly 5 in a row champions. Galway are 3 or 4 in a row champions. There seems to be one dominant team in a lot of these counties. Whereas in Clare, you look through the winners for the last couple of years, there seems to be chopping and changing every year because there's 4 or 5 really good teams who every February stand a chance of winning the county final. So the Clare Championship was the best preparation in the world for any Munster campaign, because you knew once you came out into a Munster semi-final, you were going to be battle-hardened and you'd have some really good games under your belt. And the 2 county finals against True Clonlara were epic. They ebbed and flowed, and at times they...
In terms of playing, you've won the 2019 title. You're back in the final again in 3 years. But you're playing at a time when, ladies sport has gone through the roof, and in every aspect, especially from camogie now, is hugely entertaining. They have tweaked the rules a bit, which has made it even better again. I often say that camogie is like the hurling that I was brought up with now at the moment.
Yeah, look, the physicality levels in camogie's gone through the roof. You only had to witness the 2 county finals against Truk, or the semi-final against Aina Kilmona. The hits, just the sheer honesty on all 30 players in the field, and all those given days, just want to win was incredible, and the standard is improving year on year. The skill level it's crazy, really, and it's great to see. And long may it continue, because for long enough camogie was kind of a second second to hurling by a long way. But now, there's great crowds coming to Camogie, and, what they're witnessing on the pitch is of a great standard now. So long may that continue. And hopefully next Saturday, anyone that pays in the gate to come to Mallow will witness a great Munster final between two well-prepared, equally good teams.
Yeah. I'll just ask you a question which isn't to do with Camogie, but it's the weekend that's in it. It's a very sad weekend all over. Has been a really tough week, and with the passing of Ashley Murphy. You were involved with ladies here, mentioned, what there are supreme athletes. Do you find that a tough job as a man to be involved in a women's sport?
Of course, and I'd like to take the opportunity to pass on my sympathies from the whole of Scariff Ogonelloe to Ashley Murphy's family. She's part of the organisation that we get great fun and love out of, and Kilcormac Camogie Club and all that, and we pass our deepest sympathies on to them, because it's a very hard time everybody's going through. And anytime we come through the door here, we always try and aspire to make the girls feel wanted and cared for and safe, and that's all we can do in any given time that they're in under our control, is that they have a welfare and an environment that that they feel trusted in and that they feel safe in. And that's all you can do in sport. Whatever happens outside of sport, we have to try and clean up as well, and try and make sure that all these women are safe to go for runs and walks and get about their daily life as well. But certainly in sport, any management team, any given day, all you can do is just give that feeling to the girls that they're trusted and well supported within the group that they're in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, David. Looking at your team, Aisling is back fit and fighting at the moment, Aisling Corbett.
Yeah, to be honest, look, there was a stage throughout the year where Aisling was probably struggling to find a role in the team for herself. Taking out goals was a big gamble by us all, but in fairness, Rachel Daly has stood up to that task brilliantly. She's really grown in the goals, and there was a game or two there where Bob was struggling to get on the team and make the team, and the last couple of weeks she's really stepped back up to the mark. Her free taking in both finals against Truk, and the last day as well, some of the scores she got down below in Scariff were just incredible. She hits the ball with such confidence and such ability and such belief, and she goes to take frees, and she's a handful in around the square as well. She's 6 foot tall, and she's a presence in around there, and her experience is brilliant. So she adds an extra dimension out the field, and she's enjoying it too, I think. She's enjoying that break out of the goals and a chance to run around out the field and sink her teeth into something else. So it's worked out so far, and hopefully Bob's frees will get us over the line on Saturday and make us Munster champions.
Absolutely. In terms of experience, I suppose, to have a player like Mariah Scanlon to be getting over big games, I saw what she did in the county final, how she made scores and the goal she got herself in the first game.
Look, Mairead is a joy to manage, to be honest with you. She's once in a lifetime as a manager. You'll get a whole of special players and you get the honour and privilege of managing them, but just her leadership around the group and the way she conducts herself and the professionalism of the girl is just, it's top class. And I still have that image in the replay down below in Broadford where she was tearing through the heart of True Clonlara, and there were 6 or 7 girls trying to hunt her down, and she made the goal for Lorraine Grady. But that's Mairead, she's always willing and able there for the younger girls to feed off her in terms of her experience and her leadership, and she's a constant source of encouragement and that kind of stuff to our panel of players. So we're very lucky to have Mairead, and long may she continue to play in such form as she's in.
Yeah, a fine team. I'm conscious here that I'm here in the ground as well, where Scariff Bay Radio is, and Scariff Bay Radio have done a tremendous amount for Camogie over the last number of years. And just want to mention Leo Dial, Ciara's father as well, a great man to be commentating beside.
And in fairness, look, they're fantastic in the coverage they give Camogie, and it's not just for Scariff Ogonelloe, it's for any East Clare club, Kikishan Bodyke, Tulla, Smith O'Brien's in the hurling, everyone, they try their very best, Fecal, to try and get themselves around to as many games as possible. And, since I've come up here, I've done my very, very best to tune into as many local games as I can on a Sunday if I was driving in the car or anything. But, they give the great coverage to these girls, and without that, Camogie wouldn't be really out there, so it gives the opportunity for maybe the elderly in Scariff and Ogonelloe who can't make the games but want to know what's going on, and it gives them an opportunity to tune in and listen. So, in fairness to Leo and Pat and Jim and all the gang in Scariff Bay, without them we'd be lost really. And I'd just like to say that we've got a new set of black and amber away jerseys, and we've put Scariff Bay Radio on the front of them just as an acknowledgement to the commitment and the loyalty they've shown the girls throughout the years in terms of promoting Camogie, not just within our club but with all East Clare clubs as well. So I just think it's a nice fitting tribute by our club to have our Scariff Bay Radio on our new away jersey, just to acknowledge the commitment they've made to this club.
Yeah, absolutely, David. Look, when it's Drummond Inch, he'll know every bit. You know everything about Drummond Inch. You know, I'm not sure, you probably weren't at the Munster final, were you?
I wasn't
Yeah,
involved. No,
yeah.
no.
But you played them 2 years ago. They are a formidable outfit. They have a few fairly serious players as well. So I won't ask. I know you've a lot of homework to do, but you will know each other well.
We will, and the fact that we only played each other, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago in a Munster final, will add a little bit of a spice to it. But look, they have Aoife McGrath, Eamon McGrath, Niamh Tracy, and Joanne Ryan is in the twilight of her career, but she's still contributing a huge amount to them. And Michelle Woodlock and a lot of these players, that would have had experience with Tipperary down through the years and currently on the Tip senior team, so they will be formidable. But that's what you expect in the Munster final, and that's what you want in the Munster final. You want the two best teams playing, and you want all the best players playing. So bring it on. That's what I say. Good teams are there to be beaten. We've faced some really good teams in Clare. Ina has some fantastic players, as does Truk, as does Newmarket, Kilkishen, Kilmaley, and we had to stand up to them as well. So next Saturday is no different either. We won't be treating Drummond Inch any different than we treated anybody else. We'll continue to worry about ourselves and our own game and the way we prepare, and try and implement our game plan on the game on Saturday, and try and counteract their game plan as much as we can, and hope that's enough to get over the line.
Absolutely. Just the final word there, I suppose, as regards Clare Camogie, it's Ina Kilmona has played in 3 Munster finals. You're going down to win your second Munster final. I mean, it bodes really well for Clare Camogie, because when Cork were at the pinnacle and they're still very high up the ladder, and Galway and teams like that, their clubs where they are winning the Munster finals and whatever, so it's putting Clare Camogie in a great place.
It is, and it's no coincidence. Like when we were at the Ballon, we're winning All Irelands, Wexford were winning All Irelands, and when Sarsfields are winning Club All Irelands, Galway are winning Club All Irelands, and the exposure that it gives your county is brilliant. And the county set up last year was very unlucky, to be drawn in the group with Galway and Kilkenny, but they came desperately close on 2 occasions in terms of getting the big scalp there. So the Camogie in Clare is improving all the time, and the strength of the club scene in Clare helps that, because I think any team that comes out of Clare is nearly entitled to be favourites in terms of winning a Munster title, such as the nature of the Clare Championship. So we're trying to put Clare Club Camogie on the map again on Saturday, and hopefully beyond that, and that's the aim. We're all great rivals when we play each other in Clare, but a couple of weeks ago, we were desperately wanting Ina Kilmona to win, because it means that Clare Camogie gets on the map again, and gets great promotion to every team that's in the county. So we'll do our best on Saturday to make sure that we try and land Clare Club Camogie on the national stage again, and have an All-Ireland semi-final to look forward to in a couple of weeks' time.
Great stuff, David. The game is on in Mallow at is it
3 p.m.
3 o'clock. I'm sure that there'll be a huge crowd out from Clare, that all the clubs in Clare, all the Camogie clubs and people from County Clare will go down and follow, because it's not too often we get into Munster finals, so it's really looking forward to a great day out in Mallow, and a big stand down in Mallow, so it's a great place to.
And I would encourage and all patrons of Clare Camogie who are a supporter to come on Saturday to support the girls. I don't think anyone realises the amount of work that this team has put into this. This morning was our 121st session since the start of February last year. And everyone focuses on the men's game, but I guarantee you our girls have done as much training as a Ballygunner or a Ballyhale Shamrocks or a Shockneen in the men's game. We've put our bodies on the line as much as what they have, so we deserve the support next Saturday, and I hope all locals get out with their buntons and their hats and their flags and show the support to the girls next week. And if anyone from Clare is around, to come and wear your Clare hat and support Scariff, Ogonelloe, and leave club divides to one side and just get behind the Clare team in that final next Saturday. And we will do everything in our power to make sure that Clare Camogie is well represented next Saturday, and we bring back the cup back home across the Shannon.
Absolutely, David. Well, thanks very much for talking to me, David. All the best for next Saturday, and really looking forward to this game.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. Thanks,
David.